Why the Nativity?
We're talking more about location, location, location.
What's your 1020, Joseph and Mary? Yes, we have two questions today. Chapter 9, or question number 9, is why was there no room at the inn?
Busy day.
Busy day, but come on. Don't you think they could have? Well, we'll
figure it out.
We'll check into that one.
Now,
and number 10
is why the stable?
Why the stable?
Looking at it from, instead of the Western lens, let's look at it from the Mideastern lens and ask, why did God use the stable?
Yes, you said yesterday, you pointed out that they always, over there, they think in terms of God.
Yes.
Or
why he does
why
it.
Why he does everything. Why did he do this? Why did he do that, right? So why the stable, and why was there no room at the inn? Couldn't God have called ahead for him?
Right.
There's a lot of miracles happening here. I understand you're busy and everything, but maybe a room? So it just makes it more incredible. And Juliet was saying 1020, please. Well, my 1020 is Texas. Andi and I are in Texas. And Juliet, your 1020 is in Nebraska. And the 1020 of this birth was Bethlehem.
Yep.
So 1020 means location.
Yeah. She's just playing along.
Well, let's keep going then. I know. Well,
hello, Amber.
Yeah, Amber has a headache, so I don't know if she's able to listen or not.
Oh, okay.
We'll try not to be too loud and boisterous for you, Amber. So anyway, we have two questions to ask today and to answer. And it's, why was there no room at the inn?
Yeah. Bethlehem was a quiet and uneventful village, little more than a suburb of thriving cosmopolitan Jerusalem. Never heard those two words together.
Cosmopolitan Jerusalem. Well, I started looking at some of those places like Nineveh. I didn't realize how huge Nineveh was.
Oh, yeah.
It was like 1 million, I think, if I remember. 700 to 900,000, something like that. And so Jerusalem must have been giant. It must have been a real thriving metropolis compared to some of these little villages, right?
Yeah.
So Bethlehem was a quiet little village.
It was definitely bigger than Nazareth. We know that much.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so, Nazareth was nothing either.
Yeah, it was 2,000 people maybe.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. It wasn't a travel destination as much as a small rest stop on the access road. It was just 5 miles outside of the big city, where the presence of God dwelt in the temple. Better lodgings were a matter of merely another hour's walk. Everyone was eager to see Jerusalem, too eager to linger here on the outskirts. But now the empire was taking names, and all those Israelites who descended from King David were instructed to report to their hometown of Bethlehem. Ah.
Yep. That was why everybody had to go there, because it was so busy.
Well, and it was David's hometown.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. David's hometown.
David's time in, let's see, I lost my spot. David's time, the glory days of Israel, was now 10 centuries in the past. So can you imagine 10 centuries of relatives emerging on
10 centuries
worth of generations?
That's 1,000 years. Is that? No, a century is 1,000 years. No, a century is 100 years.
Century's 100.
That's 1,000
years
of relatives.
Yeah.
So that's more than generations, because there's going to be 2 generations per century. That's 20 generations of relatives.
Wow. That's a lot of people.
No wonder it was busy. Okay, so that's the answer to why there was no room at the inn. What's the next question? That explains that. Holy catfishes. There was probably a food shortage there too.
David's time, the glory days of Israel, was now 10 centuries in the past, and the late king's extended family constituted a small nation in itself. Why would the Roman Empire bother about the roll call of a conquered people? As you might guess, it was all about money. Caesar had a healthy interest in keeping the gold flowing Romeward.
From Romeward
Cute.
up the road.
He wanted a careful and organized count to make sure every eligible soul paid every due cent. Therefore, on this wonderful day, all roads led to Bethlehem. The little town was overrun with aunts and uncles and cousins, many times removed. The scene was a cross between a great family reunion and a business convention. Even with the makeshift inns and hostels that surely sprang up overnight, there was no way Bethlehem could produce the beds it needed. Late-coming travelers were bound to be disappointed. Envision those jammed avenues. And I'm just thinking, family reunion. All right, so those who stayed in Bethlehem, they already had their cousins and aunts and uncles staying with them.
Right. Yeah. There was probably no room on the couch either.
Right.
Or in the garage. So the inn. So why the stable? So now we know both. I mean, it was one packed town. Look, this little town, it was estimated a population of 300. Bethlehem normally.
Really?
Yeah. Up to 1,000 maybe. But according to research, under 1,000 people for sure, and some placing it as low as 300.
Smaller than Nazareth.
Oh, little town of Bethlehem. And then, do you know how big Israel was in Bible times? It was the metropolis, just the pit stop on the way to Israel, right? Or to Israel. No, not Israel.
No.
To Jerusalem. That's what I meant.
Oh, right.
We were talking about Jerusalem. It was on the way to Jerusalem, right?
Right.
So what was the population of Jerusalem?
That was big.
Well, in Jesus' time, around 20,000 to 60,000. So
it was the big town.
Yeah, that's big back then.
Right.
Swelling to over 200,000 during Passover.
Right.
And other festivals.
Yeah, so it increased by 10. So they were actually used to finding makeshift or bed and breakfast.
Wherever you can put your head.
Right. So everybody who lived in the town had a bed and breakfast for that weekend.
Yeah. Everybody
right?
say, hey, hang a little shingle out.
Right.
Room for rent.
Which end do you want to pick?
Yeah.
So envision those jammed avenues. The census was a boom time for innkeepers and food vendors, but also for pickpockets and criminals who could disappear into the crowds. Travelers and raucous music spilled from the doors of taverns. Women of ill repute waited in alleyways.
Ah, the ladies.
Mm-hmm. The pious and the wicked brushed shoulders. This, then, was the setting for the coming of our Lord. But consider this. How much thicker would those crowds have been if the world had known what we know? The irony is that thousands of people bustled into town for the world's most wonderful day, all unaware that they were at ground zero of a heavenly invasion.
Oh.
Very cool. They thought they had come for something as bland and uninspiring as a tax registration. Oh, and by the way, we'll party while we're there, right?
Really?
Well, that was my side note, right?
No, yeah.
It's a family reunion. We're going to have a party. We're going to,
Yeah, I mean, but
right?
they're being told there. They're told that they're being told there to register
for taxes.
But really, God has ordained this for the birth of
right
the world.
How else would he have pulled them to Bethlehem?
No one would go to that little.
It was part of the prophecy.
That's right. Yeah, so the old folks knew. The people who studied old scrolls.
On the world's first Christmas, they had come to give, not to receive. Hundreds of families must have walked by that stable. They must have passed the mother and her newborn child without a good morning or a curious glance. Surely they turned up their noses at the excited but unwashed shepherds who brushed by them on the way to the stable. God's greatest gift came wrapped in mystery, so that no one knew what was inside. The Son of God was born into this world. Eternity infiltrated time and space. Why then was there no room in the inn? If God could mobilize a star from a distant galaxy to invite wise men from the east,
That's what I'm saying.
couldn't he make one humble room available?
Somewhere.
I mean,
Besides
you
the
already made
stable.
that statement, right?
But maybe the stable was one of the best spots ever, because think of it, the soft hay and less crowd.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't crowded, and the animals didn't give them any trouble. I don't think. So I'm sure we all know God could have done it. We can't doubt that for a second.
Right.
This event was no momentary impulse. It was the decisive moment in human history. God had been lovingly planning it since before the creation, and he did not overlook any detail. The Lord of creation chose to enter this world quietly amid an unquiet scene. It was the only quiet place. I just said that. It was by heavenly design that he came into the world, not in the relative comfort of the inn, but in some farmer's seedy shed. A homeless birth was part and parcel of a homeless life. His mother, a Nazarene, just happened to be in Bethlehem with her when her child arrived, as Micah the prophet had foretold. Mary and Joseph took the child to Egypt for safety, then to Nazareth, after the warning of an angel not to return to the vicinity of Bethlehem. We know that Jesus grew to manhood in Nazareth, but the scriptures hurry past that period. When we see him at 12, even he is on the road to Jerusalem and the temple. Never do we find him at home. One day when Jesus was an adult, a teacher declared that he would follow the master anywhere. The Lord's reply: foxes have dens to live in, and birds have nests, but the Son of Man has no place even to lay his head. Luke 9:58. His words bear a touch of wistful sadness. However, the life of Jesus was a long road that began at the stable and led to the cross, and finally, of course, to an empty tomb. Whew, what a journey. The comforts of domestic life weren't possible, for there was work to be done.
Accepting humanity's rejection, even in his birth, Jesus sent a message of stubborn, unbreakable love to the world. We would not afford him so much as a cramped closet. We had no room for him, no time to stop and worship, no interest in a peasant child. But that same child came to find room for us.
Mm-hmm.
He would one day reserve accommodations for each of his own children at the inn that awaits us on eternal shores.
Mm-hmm.
Before leaving on that final journey, he told his disciples, "There is more than enough room in my Father's home.
Mm-hmm.
If this were not so, I would have told you, and I am going to prepare a place for you." John 14:2.
Mm-hmm.
Homelessness no more. He would throw open the doors of heaven so that no one might be left in the cold. You know, another thing I was thinking, he was in a manger,
Yes,
right?
a manger. Mm-hmm.
Which is where the hay was placed for the animals to eat.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Trough.
He called
As a
himself what? The bread of life.
Right? So he was food. Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
all of these ties.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Mm-hmm.
And that's one I had never thought of.
Jesus is the bread of life, and he was in the trough. He was
Right.
in the manger.
He was,
too.
yep.
For us, he's the ultimate sacrifice. So from the very beginning, Jesus experienced hardship from the very beginning to the end.
Mm-hmm.
When did he have it good? Never got to go home. Was missing for 12 years.
Mm.
I didn't even see the bulletin on that one. Nobody really cares, I guess. I don't understand that part. But anyway, so he goes missing for 12 years. Most important man in history.
Because we don't hear about him again until he's 30, between 12 and 30. We don't.
Yeah, so 18. We really only hear about him a few times.
Yeah.
So what was going on? I mean, we hear about him. He had to go face to face with the devil in a desert.
Yeah.
Holy cow! Talk about it. You know,
Homeless.
a game away from home. Like, let's say that you're a little tiny school and you go to play the Arizona Sun Devils in Arizona.
Yeah.
Right? So you got to go face the devil in their territory in the desert. That's what I thought of when I think of Jesus in the desert with Satan tempting him. I think of like an away game for colleges when they go to play ASU. You know, I almost pulled the trigger today. We could go live on Digging Deeper or on Scanner FM. Actually, Scanner FM is where I was going to go.